Hello, everyone. How y'all doing out there today? Welcome back to my channel, The Cheryl Hubbard Show. I have my sewing machine here today. I'm gonna just want to, do a little practicing. I got a dress that I want to uh I want to, take it in a little bit because it's a little big on me. But and then I also have my YouTube channel. But first I want to give honor to God. Say, God, thank you for waking me up this morning. Thanks for being there for me. Thanks for starting me on my way. I want to say prayers to my YouTube fans, my YouTube family. Prayers to myself, my family. Sure, I let Hubbard Walker. And I want to say, God, thank you for waking me up this morning. Thank you for starting me on my way. And God, we are praying, and I'm praying that you get this, help us get this coronavirus under control. I'm trying to wipe it off the face of this earth, and don't never let it come back again. So much prayers, to everybody out there. So I know it's a hard time that we are, all are experiencing now. We're all going through this, being quarantined, self quarantined. So I've been self quarantined as well, right here in my home. And so it's something and then the weather about to warm up, so but it's something that we have to do because and safety, our health and our safety is more important. So if you have to, I mean, a lot of us are, running out of food. How you gonna get out and get your groceries? I mean, I guess we have to order. Maybe we can order offline. Then you scared to order offline almost because we don't know who is handling our food and are they being sanitary and cleaning their surfaces, because we are told, when I watch the news every day, so I'm listening to the doctors from the, Trump has his medical team, and then the World Health Organization and CDC, Center for Disease Control, and they are saying that this virus can live on surfaces for 3 days. And so, in other words, if you go out of your home when they tell you to quarantine, self-quarantine inside, when we go out of our home and we come back in, we have to, make sure we wash our hands before we come in. And then the clothes that we have on when we went out, we don't want to keep those same clothes on when we come back in, because we don't know where we went, and if where we went exposed us. We don't know if where we went exposed us. So that's why they say stay in. So I've been staying in, self-quarantine, and watching the news, writing down all my little notes, so, and trying to keep everything in memory. So they said it can linger on surfaces. That's why they said you can, you want to disinfect your surfaces. Make sure you keep your hands washed at all times. And they had a doctor on there today. He said at least wash your hands 3 times a day. Wash your hands 3 times a day, and soap and water is the best. Is the best thing to use. But if you're out in the street, and hopefully you won't have to be out there, because a lot of things are shut down. So really, nobody's at work basically. I mean, the essential, I guess fire department, police, and all of them have to go to work, and medical personnel. And my son, he does security, so he's at work. He's working daily. So he said down there where he working at, they have their little mask, you cover their nose and their mouth, and then their gloves. So, I don't know. So probably eventually they probably gonna be letting them stay home. Letting them stay home too. Probably eventually everybody else is home. Libraries closed, schools closed, bars, restaurants, sports been shut down, football practice, basketball games, and right now they don't know what they are going to do with the special. I mean, not the Special Olympics, but the Olympics. So they don't know what they are going to do with the Olympics. So right now, but my thought is they may end up closing that down too. So let me look at my paper and see if I have anything that I might want to mention, but I ain't gonna go into it too much because it's the talk of the town right now, and it's, you have to have some type of outlet. That's why sometimes I want to be informed, so I do look at the news, and I do, touch base with YouTube on a daily basis. But sometimes you have to turn off a little bit. Put a movie on or something. So you can kind of clear your mind. Okay, so let me see. Just want to see if there's anything important that I jotted down that I might want to mention. Just the fact that don't be at the bars and the restaurants, and to that those two things are closed. So, but so surfaces, cleaning your home, but and they said this is not the time to have. We have to use common sense. This is not the time to have parties, even have guests, even invite people over, friends and family. So it's best for friends and family to stay away until they can hopefully we'll hopefully the virus will be hitting its peak very soon, but they seem to think it probably won't be till July or August. And so they are implementing telehealth. I guess some insurance plans, so you can touch base with your doctor through telehealth. Probably Skype or something like that. If you could Skype your doctor, probably they said a lot of dental clinics and all that. Because I know I took my son. Actually, I called the dentist. I didn't take him, but I called my son. He had a dental appointment, and I called, and the lady, the representative that works at the dental clinic, she said the clinic was shut down. So she said the clinic was shut down, the dental clinic is shut down. Because she was like, she said, you heard about what was going on? And she said, that thing. I'm like, what thing? You talking about the coronavirus? It was so upsetting to her, she didn't even want to say the name. Because she's in the healthcare. She's in the healthcare field, and I can understand that. And my niece, she's a nurse. She's an RN, registered nurse. So, and it's this is really something else, because they are, our healthcare professionals, they are at risk as well, trying to save lives, putting their own lives at risk. Fire department, police department, they all, they have, that's why I look at the news every day. So they're having, protocol is changing on a daily basis, so they have to handle things a certain way so they won't contaminate themselves. So, so the dental clinic was shut down, so I wasn't too mad with that because I was going to be scheduled anyway. So when she said it was shut down, but I was like, y'all didn't even call nobody. You didn't call your patients and let them know, but I'm saying I called anyway because I wanted to know. Actually, I was going to, cancel it, but she said, well, the clinic is shut down anyway. I said, it's cool. She said, we'll call back about a couple months. Don't expose yourself to outside surfaces. That's why they say, self-quarantine. Self-quarantine is our best option, and washing our hands 3 times a day. And, self-quarantine, that means self. That means don't have no friends over, no family, no friends, none of that. You shouldn't be running in nobody's house. I'm not running in nobody's house. They shouldn't be running in my house. Let me see. So I don't see any different, but just a few. I don't want to constantly dwell on it every day because I know, everybody's watching the news anyway, but I just wanted to see if I had any new information. But I probably will be watching the 10 o'clock news, so they are, talking about this pandemic. And Trump, they talk about sending direct checks to households, to Americans. I know Bernie Sanders, he said they should be sending a check to every American adult household. But we got to see how that's going to pan out. So, I mean, it shouldn't, to me, it shouldn't just be for the working adults. I think this particular time, everybody needs some extra funding. Need some extra funding because we're all running out of money. We're running out of food. How we gonna get out here and go shopping? And you can't even be in the grocery store to be side by side with nobody. I mean, I guess if you're at the grocery store, you can you want to be 6 feet away. 6 feet away, you don't want to be too close to, even at the grocery store, wherever you go, So I know my food is getting low. I'm gonna have to, probably order online or something, Food is getting low, money is getting low, And so now they're saying everybody's susceptible, young. If it was first thought that the younger population didn't have to worry, but this virus does not have an age limit on it. So no age limit on this virus, and really any illness that you get, there's no age limit. Cancer and all kind of illnesses that are out there. There's just no age limit on none of those things. So but that was first said in the beginning. But I guess they were looking at a percentage of people that were contracting the virus. But keep on outside. Surfaces clean. Stay 6 feet away from people. Self quarantine. It says if somebody sneezes, but if you're out there, some people still going to work. Some people still going to work, probably grocery stores, and because I look out my window, people still driving their cars and people still moving around. But somebody's, basic thing they're saying. One of the most important things they're saying. One of the important things they're saying, I guess I could say rather. Stay away from somebody that's sick. Stay away from somebody that's sick. If they sneeze, hopefully they sneeze like that. And, back up off them, sometimes you shouldn't be that close. We shouldn't be that close to no one anyway. So sometimes if you're around somebody, not sometimes, but if you're around somebody and they're sneezing and, you're around some outside surfaces, you might want to come take your clothes off and put them in a separate bag where you can wash them, or even if you want to throw them in the trash. Throw them in the trash before you got to get in the house because you can't take your clothes off outside. So I guess when you get in the house, if you take your clothes off, put them in a bag and put them in the trash, or if you want to put them in a separate bag where you can wash them, that's if you've been outside, because you don't want to be exposed being around, because they say the virus can live on surfaces for up to 3 days. So that's why they say don't go outside, because you can expose yourself. We can expose ourselves all kinds of ways if we go outside. Surfaces, being around someone else, So that's why they say self-quarantine, stay inside. That's the best safety measure we can follow. 6 feet away, staying away from people 6 feet away, staying away from outside surfaces. That's why bars, restaurants, and I don't know if they closed the movie. I think they did close the movie theaters too. Bars, restaurants, movie theaters. But they're saying that restaurants, I guess they're doing the delivery. They're still doing the home delivery. But you can always, and I think now Uber, I saw on the internet where Uber is taking orders over the computer, over the internet. Let me see. They said, Prince William County closes all public playgrounds until further notice. So that's Prince William County. And we heard about the firefighters. It says 67 DC firefighters are in quarantine. So I think it's some other stuff, but I'm not going to mention all. And then another thing, all Social Security Administration, government buildings right here, Washington, D.C., they all closed. I saw that online. So I guess they are working from home. A lot of companies are allowing their employees to telework. So a lot of them are allowing their employees to telework. And I know my cousin, her husband, um, he was supposed to go back. He had just had surgery. But it was about 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago he had his surgery, but he was supposed to be taken off for 6 weeks, but he probably ended up being off longer than that. And she took off for 3 weeks. My cousin, and she works in the school system out in Virginia. So she took off for 3 weeks to help her husband, he had surgery for 2 weeks ago. So he took off 6 weeks, but he might end up being off longer than that because he had to make sure he is not going to be around. We have to make sure wherever we go, they're cleaning them surfaces. Because you can ask, hey, are you cleaning your surfaces? Are you disinfecting your building? That's what you need to know before you go inside any building. So that's why they say, try to stay home, self-quarantine. You don't have to go out, especially those, I guess, in the high-risk group, those over 65. But I would be like, look, everybody need to watch out to make sure that where are you going, where you going, where you traveling, that they are disinfecting their buildings, and surfaces are being constantly cleaned off. And the metro, they having problems, so they have to, I believe they shut down one station today, or they're gonna have to go in there and disinfect that train and that station. So it has a grave effect on the economy because a lot of businesses are shut down. They're going to have to probably, the president, he signed this bill, so he'll be getting a certain amount of money to help the economy out. The car industry, restaurant industry, car industry, and just, people in general. Population need help because everybody's feeling the pinch. And they have, some car dealerships definitely have closed down. And also I got right here Levi Strauss, what's this? Artisan, no, Aritzia, PVH Corp, Calvin Klein, Tommy Hilfiger. So they are closing their stores. And Simon Property Corp temporarily closing all of its malls. And as I already mentioned, Social Security Administration, they're closing to protect their workers and benefit recipients from the coronavirus pandemic. And I think that is it. Yeah, I mentioned Bernie Sanders, and also right here in D.C. I guess all over the country. But we have Pepco here, but I think Virginia is Pepco, Virginia Electric Power Company. But I know right here in D.C., Trump is recommending that the utility companies don't cut off people's electric. And HUD, they recommended that HUD don't, they postpone their foreclosures and their evictions. So they recommend, Trump is, signing certain bills. So he's recommending that HUD don't postpone the evictions and postpone the evictions and the foreclosures. Evictions and foreclosures. I think foreclosures. I think that's the last. And also suspend mortgage loan payments. So Trump wanted to suspend mortgage loan payments. So those are some good things. So postponing evictions, postponing foreclosures, mortgage payments, utility payments, postpone those because people don't have money. That's why I say everybody needs some of that money they talking about giving out. Everybody, don't just give it to certain people. I think every household, every American, when they talk about the Americans, all the Americans need a piece of that, a check. For real. Yes, because we running out of food, we running out, supplies, and then if you, running out because we can't, I do my ride share. I can't go out there and do no ride share. I can't go out there and work and do no rashing, so that's off the table. So I think that is the last. I think that was the last one. Yeah, so that was, just a few little things to mention. So, constantly, we must constantly wash our hands, stay away from these outside surfaces because the virus lives on surfaces. And then if you out there by these surfaces and then you coming back in your house, you're bringing the virus in your house. Especially if you're around other people, you're around these surfaces, you didn't wash your hands like you're supposed to, and then you're out there, and you come back in your house, you don't want to bring the virus back inside your house. I'm not a doctor, but I can understand the message that they are putting out. Because, like I said, this is an invisible virus. You can't see it. We can't see it, but we can see the effect that it has on people. We can't see it, but we definitely can see the effect that it has on people. So when they say don't go out, so I've been in here. I've been hanging on YouTube, hanging around the house, make sure I cook. And, no company in here. I'm by myself, me and my son. And he doesn't have to go, he's not in school, he's out of school. So that's a good thing they did close those schools and everything. So they closed the schools, so they didn't want the kids in school end up in around those surfaces at school, and then bringing that virus back. Hopefully the kids wouldn't get it, but if the kids are in school and then they had to come back home, they have to make sure they didn't get nothing at the school. I mean, are they cleaning these schools effectively? So I do have my little my voice, I'm talking a whole lot. So I don't never like to drink out the, I like to put it in here. So, and this is a strawberry banana cereal. And it does have protein. So, and then we want to try to, eat and drink stuff that can, build our immune system. So I usually drink this, probably like a couple times a week. And then I have my cottage cheese, but you know what? I ran out of that because I had 2 large ones that my son bought me. But I finished those off. So that was a Saturday. He bought that. Was a Sunday? No, Sunday he bought me those groceries. Sunday he bought me the groceries, and he bought the he brought that from the store. And he bought me those things that he brought from the store. So that was Sunday. That was 4 days ago, but because sometimes I like to eat those, and it keeps you from eating a whole lot. But sometimes when you get hungry, So got my little machine here. So have my little machine, and also I still have my this is my 4th book that I'm working on, called Johnny, His Dog, Dusty, and the Mysterious Tree, A Trip to the Park. So this is just a draft, So I'll probably do a different cover. I'll probably do a different cover, photo. But I finished writing it, so it just have to be, finish writing it. I have to type it up. And this is a little picture right here. So this is my 4th book, and I have to do a back. I definitely have to do me a back cover, and this is the front cover. But so Okay, so let me try something out. Okay, I have no, this is the thread, so you know you got your thread. Excuse me. It's cute too. I got the little scissors that came with the. So what you do? This is up. So what I do? Take the thread, and so it goes over here. I put it over here. It goes in here, then it goes down here, then I put it around here, and so when it goes, there you go, with a hook in there, and then once it hook in there, then once I, right here, then it comes through here, come around here, come up, and it come back around here, so then when it come down here, then I'll put it in the needle. So now the other thread that I had, it was a little too thick. See if I can get this thread in there. The thread is nice and thin, but you know, trying to get it in the needle. And when you're dealing with the needle, so I'm new at this, but you know, just trying to work on this. I'm gonna buy me some patterns and um some material. Patterns and some material. And this is thread I had in here for a while. Oh, let me cut this. Let me cut this down. Maybe I can get it in. Let's see if I can get that in there. I had to cut that piece right there. Maybe I can get it in there. There we go. Okay, I took the time to cut it. So when you have both pieces of thread, put it in the back like this. Let's see. Okay, just let's see how this will. So I am left-handed, so it's just a dress I want to take in, and let's see how we're going to do this. Okay. Yep, so that was right there. Let's just stay up like that. It's just going to be a straight stitch. Let's see. Oh, yeah, she working. Oh, okay. So just a straight stitch on both sides. Yeah, you definitely have to wash it. You don't want to get your hands caught up in nothing. So, and then I cut it. See the stitch? It's a nice little stitch. Oh, it came. Oh, she came out good. See the stitch? That's the stitch I made. So just let me see. I did that side. Let me see how I look on the other side. So that's the inside. I mean, it's the outside. Oh, she came out good. That's the other side. So, yep. So I'm gonna do the other side now. Do the other side. Actually, I want to see. I was just trying to take it in on each side for about an inch, maybe. Uh-huh. I'm trying to take it in about an inch on each side. So since I am left-handed, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start this one from. I'm gonna start this one from the bottom because I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can do it like that because I'm left-handed. See, I'm left-handed, so I'm gonna have to. So I'm gonna have to do it like this. Uh, so make sure my foot pedal is right there where I can. So I said I like to make sure the thread, I mean my material is straight. And what I do is you know, I haven't made anything, but this is just a dress that I was going to take in on both sides. You know. Dress that I wanted to take in on both sides. So, because it was a little big on me. It's a little big on me, so, you know. So it's a little big on me, so I just wanted to, you know, take it in on, you know, just wanted to take it in on both sides, see? Oh, it's a nice stitch. See, that's a stitch. I mean, it's not that straight, but hey, This is how the stitch look. And I just wanted to take it in on both sides so it can fit me a little better because it is big. And so I just wanted to take it in on both sides. Let's see. You see how I took it in on both sides, but oh, and I still can have I still can put a belt on with it, but this is where I took the stitch at. That's where I took it up at right there. That's where I took it up. And you can't even tell that I did that, but you know. So, I just took it in. Just took it in on both sides. So it's a nice little handy machine there. Okay. So just took it in on that, so. Okay. I want to read. Let's see if I got a few little things I can read. This book right here is another book that I have. It's called Foundations of Law and Cases, Commentary, and Ethics. So, sometimes, you get a little bored, pick up a book and read, pick up a book and read. And this is when I was taking a class right here. Stratford Career Institute. I was taking a class. Okay, let's think about law school. See, to understand how lawyers think, some appreciation of the law experience is helpful. Law school provides a rigorous training that formally and informally molds a certain sort of thinking. So in other words, if you become a lawyer, they do a lot of critical thinking. They think differently than we do. Just like the police officers, they have a different way of thinking than we do. That's why we be wondering, why they do that like that? Why they do that? Because critical thinking. So let me see. Admission to law school is highly competitive. Prestige and reputation are important in the legal profession, and equally so to the law student, because placement and salary upon graduation from law school depend upon the prestige of the law school and performance in law school. So it depends on how you perform. In other words, now I did my bachelor's degree, so I wouldn't have to do pre-law. I wouldn't have to do pre-law. So if you have a bachelor's degree, you don't have to do pre-law. You can go straight to law school. But if you don't have a bachelor's degree, you have to do pre-law before you can get to law school. Just like the medical field. If you have a bachelor's degree, but you have to have those particular courses that they need. So some people have to be pre-med. You have to be pre-med. So if you have but I assume you still will have to go to, I guess, I assume the medical field works the same way. I mean, medical training, But in other words, I know if you go to law school, if you have a bachelor's degree, you should be able to go straight to law school. So you shouldn't have to do pre-law. But then they have pre-med, so, but you have to make sure you're taking a lot of science courses. You get a bachelor's degree, make sure you're taking a lot of science courses in order to, to get into medical school. Among law schools, the most elite are considered national law schools because their orientations as well as their reputations are national. Let's see. Let me see if I can find some important terms that we might need to know. This is law and the profession. Jurisprudence. commonly defined as the science or philosophy of law. I learned that too in my law class. It is generally concerned with the nature of law and legal systems. Plea bargaining. One accused of a crime can bargain through her attorney with the prosecutor. The bargain usually involves an agreement by the accused to plead guilty in return for favorable treatment, such as a lenient sentence, reduction to a lesser charge, or probation in lieu of incarceration. And then we have prosecutor. The prosecutor is the attorney charged with prosecuting criminal cases on behalf of a state or the United States. A public employee commonly titled state attorney, district attorney, or United States attorney. And then we have a contract, an agreement that creates a legal relationship between two or more parties. Litigation, a dispute brought to court derived from the Latin lis, which means lawsuit. Then we have a breach of contract, when a party fails to render the performance required by a contract. Bar, the term used to refer collectively to licensed members of the legal profession. Bench, drawn from the term referring to the seat occupied by judges in court. The bench refers to all judges collectively. So judges sitting on a bench. Then we have disbarment, the most severe professional disciplinary sanction, canceling an attorney's license to practice law. JD, that's Juris Doctorate. The basic law degree, it stands for Juris Doctor and is equivalent to the more traditional LLB. We got the law review. Most accredited law schools publish a law review on a quarterly basis with scholarly articles and comments on legal issues. Law clerks, law school students who work summers or part-time for private attorneys. Also top law students who obtain clerkships with judges after graduating from law school. A law clerk. I wish I, could have been a law clerk, but I guess you got to finish law school first. Justice, the title given to the judges of the Supreme Court, United States, and to the judges of the appellate courts of many of the states. The Court of Appeals, the appellate court is the same thing as the Court of Appeals, I guess. Obtaining a license to practice law. Obtaining a license to practice law to represent a client in legal matters, an attorney must be licensed in the jurisdiction in which he or she practices. Each state has its own requirements for admission to practice, and the federal courts have their own requirements. Many states relax their requirements for long-term members of the bar of other states, but the process by which the newly graduated law student becomes an attorney follows a similar pattern in most states. Trying to see statutes. Statutes are the laws. Statute, a law enacted by the legislative branch of government declaring, commanding, or prohibiting something. So like I said, one of my previous videos, when judges make laws, and Congress make laws, but the police enforce the laws. But the judges make laws, and Congress make the laws. So judges went down in the towns back in the day, and as they solved those cases, they became laws. Statutes are the laws. They became laws on the books. So a lot of those laws on the books that were placed on the books back then, back in the English towns, English communities, then they are on the books now. Here's a Latin word, pro se, for oneself in one's own behalf. American law recognizes not only the right to be represented by an attorney, but also the right to represent oneself in court. Enjoin, E-N-J-O-I-N, to prohibit a person from certain acts in order to typically emanating from an injunction. I'm trying to see if there's some terms that would be good. Well, I mean, I know you heard of this term paralegal, refers generally to a worker in a law office who performs legal tasks under the attorney, under the attorney's supervision, but who is not licensed to practice law. So in other words, the paralegals perform duties under the lawyer, but they can't, they can't be in the courtroom. Can't be in the courtroom. See, paralegal as a title and paralegal as a title and a job is usually interchangeable with legal assistant. That's what I have. I have my the legal assistant diploma. You have to say paralegal and legal assistant are today used interchangeably, though there has been some debate over which term was more descriptive. Inns of court, INNS of court. For centuries, English lawyers were trained in the Inns of Court, where students learned the law in association with legal scholars, lawyers, and judges. Paralegal training. Because paralegals are as yet unlicensed, no formal training is required. As mentioned, many paralegals have been trained at work by their supervising attorney. Some have even trained themselves. While we may call some persons paralegals by virtue of the completion of formal training, others are best defined by the nature of the work they do. In addition, many individuals working in law firms perform secretarial work as well as legal work that goes beyond what would normally be expected of a legal secretary. So let me see what other terms I have. Okay, we have substantive law. That part of law that creates, defines, and regulates rights compared to procedural law, which deals with the method of enforcing rights. We have pleadings, written formal documents framing the issues of a lawsuit, consisting primarily of what is alleged on the one side, for example, the plaintiff's complaint, or denied on the other, for example, the defendant's answer. Evidence, the information presented at trial, the rules of evidence are part of the procedural law. Motions, request that a judge make a ruling or take some other action. I have a motion. I motion to dismiss, or I motion to recess, or whatever they have a motion for. Jurisdiction, the authority, capacity, power, or right of a court to render a binding decision in the case. Let's see what other terms I have. Okay, statute of limitations. Statute of limitations, a federal or state law that specifies time limits within which suits must be filed for civil and criminal actions. They vary from state to state and from action to action. So the timeline on when you can file a motion for this, or when you can file paperwork for this case or that case, that is the statute of limitations. Statute of limitations could run out, or you still might have, it's a timeline. We have, what about appellate brief? A formal statement submitted to the appellate court when a case is appealed. The appellant submits a written statement to the appellate court raising legal issues to be decided. The appellee, or the appealee, I guess it's appellee, whichever way you want to call it. The appellee then has a period within which the appellee's brief must be filed challenging the appellant's arguments on the issue. Let's see what else I have in here. Don't want to read over stuff that we already know. We have something called a judicial restraint. Judicial restraint, an accepted customary policy of courts to restrict themselves to consideration of the questions presented to them and to restrain from legislating or interfering unduly with the executive or legislative branches. The principle also refers to the customary restraint federal courts exercise to leave questions of state law to state courts. So in other words, they said it says an accepted customary policy of courts to restrict themselves to consideration of the questions presented to them and to restrain from legislating or interfering unduly with the executive or the legislative branches. So executive and legislative branches of government. The principle also refers to the customary restraint federal courts exercise to leave questions of state law to state courts. Then we have the, let's see, I think I went over that before. Common law, that's what I was talking about in my previous video. Yep, it's the kingdom. It says the Normans established a legal regime for the entire kingdom of England, with laws common to all inhabitants of the realm. Under the system, 3 common law courts were established: King's Bench, Common Pleas, Exchequer. The decisions of these courts, and especially the decisions of the appeals of these courts, became binding precedents on lower courts under a doctrine called stare decisis. Let the decision stand. Stare decisis. So this is the same. This is what I was talking about in my previous video, common law. That's how when judges went down in the towns and they solved those cases. So when they solved those cases, they became precedent. So precedent case is an important case. It's a case. It's basically a model case to follow. In other words, they solved their case and they used this rule of law to solve that case. So when they run across another case, a future case, then they can look at that same. They can look at that same rule of law when they solve that previous case. So stare decisis, let the decision stand. So when they made the decision for that case, they had to implement stare decisis, let the decision stand. So that decision would stand. They already solved that case. So that's how that goes. So girl think she a lawyer, really? What? Oh Lord have mercy. Here it is right here. Precedent. Prior decisions of the same court. That's what I just said. Prior decisions. Prior decisions of the same court or a higher court, which a judge must follow in deciding a subsequent case, presenting similar facts and the same legal problem. Precedent consists of the rule applied in a case and encompasses the reasoning that requires it. In a given decision, the precedent may be distinguished from dictum, which includes extraneous or conjectural statements not necessary to the decision and which are not binding on future decisions. Judges make law. That's what it says. It's currently part of the American democratic folklore that judges merely interpret but do not make law. The fallacy of this notion lies in the fact that the power to interpret the law inevitably leads to making the law. Yep. So judges make law. Stare decisis, the doctrine that judicial decisions stand as precedents for cases arising in the future. It is a fundamental policy of our law that, except in unusual circumstances, a court's determination on a point of law will be followed by courts of the same or lower rank in the later cases presenting the same legal issue. So, case of first impression. A case that presents a fact situation that has never been decided before by that court. Let me see what else I have in here. So, different terms in here. You got the arrest, you got the detection of a crime, arrest and complaint. Arrest usually refers to the detaining someone to answer for a crime. So, you know, it's a lot of good terms in here. We have a term called undue influence, when a contract is induced by relentless pressure, especially from a confidential relationship. When a contract is induced by a relentless pressure, so in other words, somebody forced you to enter into a contract, and it says especially from a confidential relationship. That's why I say undue influence. Mistake of fact in contract formation makes the contract voidable. One or both parties believes some essential fact about the transaction to be other than it really is. Emancipated minor. A person under the age of majority who is totally self-supporting or married, varies by state. So in other words, sometimes, I know in the movies you might see minors, they want to be emancipated, but I think they have to be, I figure they would have to be a certain age. Emancipated, emancipated from their parents. Uh, Emancipated means being freed, I guess. Because remember that term, Emancipation Proclamation, when they freed the slaves. So that's that same term. It says lack of capacity to form a contract. Yeah, right. If they're a minor, minors cannot enter into a contract because if a person is under 21, they cannot enter into a contract. And if they do enter into a contract, the contract can be rescinded because they are minors, they're underage. You can't enter into a contract with a minor to do nothing. So, they can rescind the contract at any time. It say lack of capacity may be due to lack of legal competence based on status, lack of mental capacity to form contracts, or temporary incapacitation, intoxication. In most states, the age of majority is 18. Right, that's what I'm thinking. I'm trying to find out what age it was. Until reaching the age of majority, persons are not legally competent, which includes an incapacity to bind themselves contractually. Exceptions are sometimes made for emancipated minors. Contracts with minors may be avoided by the minor. That's what I said. But can be ratified upon reaching the age of majority. Contracts for necessaries such as food and clothing are usually enforceable against minors. So contracts for food and clothes. So if they go out there and buy some food and some clothes, clothing, even though they are minors, it can be enforced. But any other contracts, they will not be enforced until they're 18 years old. See, until reaching the age of 18 majority, persons are not legally competent. They're not legally competent. They can't make no legal decisions on their own. That's why, and there's another term too. I can think of it. Okay, it's called statutory rape. In other words, if you ask a 16 or 17-year-old person to go to bed with you, and they say yeah, and you go ahead with them, that's statutory rape because they can't make no decisions on their own because they are minor. They're not competent. They don't have the mental capacity to make no decisions, especially when it comes to something like that. So you could be charged with statutory rape. So, they have to be over 18 and over. So that's how that goes. Lack of capacity to form a contract. I talked about, the voidable describes a contract that the innocent party, having contracted wrongfully in certain recognized ways, may avoid by returning to the conditions prior to the agreement. So in other words, the contract will be voided. Statute of frauds. That means some contracts have to be in writing. Certain contracts have to be in writing. The statute of frauds. An ancient doctrine that requires that certain contracts be in writing and signed. So an oral contract binds the parties as much as a written one, though a written contract provides more certain evidence of the terms of a contract than personal recollection of what was orally agreed. The statute of frauds was enacted making certain contracts unenforceable unless written. 1677, the law of contracts was poorly developed, as were the laws of evidence and proof. The statute was an attempt to prevent fraudulent abuse of legal process. The statute of frauds remained largely intact during the creation of American law, often with only minor modifications. The UCC has created its own version of the statute of frauds, requiring certain contracts be in writing. Certain contracts need to be in writing. So, I believe that the sale of goods would definitely have to be in writing. I don't see it in here, but I think it's in my other book. Illegality, agreements to do an unlawful act, including torturous as well as criminal acts, or for an unlawful purpose, are deemed void by the courts and would not be enforced. A number of problems, such as what exactly is unlawful and how to handle a contract that is in part unlawful and in part lawful, have had different results in different jurisdictions. Let's see what other terms I have. I read some of these yesterday, but you know, these same terms right here in my other book. Easement. Easement is a right of use in another's property, as for example, when someone has a right of way to cross another's land. So in other words, if you want to go across somebody else's land, you can get permission. You have to get permission from the government or from them, I guess. Easement. So they're saying, you know, you have to have an easement. We have a lease, an agreement by the owner of the property to leaseor with a renter, tenant, or leasee, whereby the leasee pays for the right of possession and use but does not acquire title. So in other words, you rent an apartment, you just have the right to, you know, occupy that place, rent that place, but you don't get a title to it. You just have a right to occupy the place, apartment, even maybe a house if you want to rent a house. But if you want to buy a house, then you know you get a car. If you want to get a car, buy a car. Once you finish paying for it, you know you buying a car, you get the title. But when you rent an apartment, that's different. These are the documents that express the intention to transfer real property interest from one owner, the grantor, to another, the grantee. The deed must be in writing, the grantor must be competent, the grantee must be identified, there must be an adequate description of the property, consideration. A mere recital of consideration is usually sufficient. The grantor must sign. Witnesses are commonly required. And a deed must be delivered to the grantee. Another term, eminent domain, the power of the government to take private property for a public use, for which just compensation is required by the Constitution. So in other words, eminent domain. Say for instance, the government come around and they like your property, they need your property, they want that space. You know, eminent domain. They will have to pay you. They will have to pay you for your property. In other words, sometimes, you know, I've seen it in the movies a lot of times. They want a whole block sometimes. You know, the developer, they be like, the developer came over here and they want us to sell our property, you know. But when the government come for your property, they will definitely pay you, have to pay you. Eminent domain. Eminent domain. The Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. The repository of basic rights in criminal law ends with the clause, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. So that's eminent domain. Let's see, it's a lot of different, you know, sometimes I read a few little terms. Then I have another, this book called Law Office Management. So this is, I know lawyers get paid by billable hours because this is, of course, I finished this class right here some time ago. This is giving you a definition of what is a paralegal. Everybody's saying legal assistant, so I have my diploma. I have mine, says legal assistant. It's a legal assistant diploma, though. It says the American Bar Association has defined a paralegal or a legal assistant as a person qualified through education, training, or work experience who is employed or retained by a lawyer, law office, government or agency, or other entity in a capacity or function which involves the performance under the ultimate direction and supervision of an attorney, specifically designated substantive legal work, which work for the most part requires a sufficient knowledge of legal concepts that absent such assistant, the attorney will perform the task. So, I mean, you know, It's a daunting task to, I assume that it would be a whole lot. This is a good book right here too. This book right here tells you a lot of stuff. Basically it gives you the insight into what it would be like if you're working in the office as a paralegal. Law office. That's why I say law office management. And they talk about billing, manual systems, automated time slip systems. This is what I was talking about right here. Billable hours versus firm hours. Most firms have annual hourly time goals, but they are really more than goals. They are must. These goals are the firm's attempt to project and maintain its objectives by making sure that each contributor is appropriately productive. These time requirements are referred to as billable hour requirements. Billable hours, as the name denotes, are those hours of your work that you can directly bill to the client. So in other words, you're working in a law office, you only get paid for billable hours. Only those hours that you're billing the client. So you don't get paid for those other hours. So you're working 5 hours, you're working on that project for that particular client. And you'll get paid just for those hours, billable hours. So, but if you work 8 hours, then you'll get paid for the whole 8 hours. So I'm going to stop right here today because it's already been an hour. The suspense and tickler system. There are a number of good ways to have a personal suspense, often called a tickler system. A suspense or tickler system is a reminder system whose essential purpose is docket control. It's a lot of stuff in this book. I have to come back with this book maybe the next time. We had a law librarian, the law library resources, mail systems, mandatory reporting requirements, mentor program, office manual, paralegal training programs, personnel management, pro bono work, computers and technology in the law office. It's a whole lot. I'll come back with some of this stuff next time. We have WordPerfect disk operating systems and Windows, data processing, legal applications. We have telephone fraud, mobile phones and pagers, different things. We got, but these are some old machines and stuff. See right here, these little old machines. So that's back in the day, I guess, when they, I don't even think they even make these little computers no more. Dictation machines, legal research, online systems, legal research. I took a class called legal research and writing. One of these schools. I have so many. Stress in the law office. Law offices are among the most stressful of all office environments. I just said it was a daunting task. They do not merely create stress, they breed it. Working in a legal environment is demanding and stressful. It's also challenging and rewarding, but those rewards and challenges cannot be truly satisfying if you are overwhelmed and burned out. Stress management is really an issue of survival in the law office. So I'm going to cut it down right here. So this is law office management. And I want to say, thanks for joining me today. And thanks for joining me today. And I say I'm glad that you can join me today. I say this is my YouTube channel. That's Everything Ebony. She said she got her sewing machine too. She got her sewing machine. And I want to say thanks for joining me today. And you saw me, I worked a little bit on my sewing machine. I'm going to put this up. I'm going to straighten up around me. And get ready to eat a little dinner. And then I'll see what's on the news. So thanks for joining me. So glad you could be here today. And as I said, I'm going to continue to work on, I want to continue to work on my, my fourth book. I want to continue to work on this. So I got to go into Microsoft Word maybe tomorrow and, start typing it up. But thanks for joining me, and I'm so glad you can join me today. Hope to see you back here again. I'm going to watch the news, but I tried to, get off the news a little bit, but, so just continue. We must just continue washing our hands, and social distancing, washing our hands, and listen, go to the CDC's website, World Health Organization's website. But really, they're giving all the information we need on the news. So, Trump had his, our President Donald Trump had his press conference yesterday and today. So some very enlightening information. So, so we are staying abreast of what is going on. So, hoping and praying God bless us, bless this world, bless everybody. I'm praying for you, all you YouTubers out there. And I hope you pray for me and my family. And I'm asking God to be with us, be with all of us. And so praying that this God can wash this coronavirus off the face of this earth so we will never have to see it again. So we're hoping that we hit the peak. We're hoping that, I know they said China, and they haven't seen any new cases. So I think they started dealing with theirs probably sometime. I think it was like November, December when they started dealing with the coronavirus, and so they are hitting their peak. They might have had a problem with it before then, but they said there are no more cases, and China has reported no more cases. Right? They haven't reported any more cases at this moment, at this time. So. Trump seems to feel that we may hit our peak around July or August, but I'm hoping that it's sooner than that. It's taking a toll on everybody. It's very stressful, and it's just, something that's just too much. I said people running out of food, people running out of money, the bills have to be paid. If you can't go out of the house, how can you get your groceries? How can you pay your rent if you can't go out the house? I mean, what are we going to do? We worry about our family worried about us, and But only thing we do, I was talking to my cousin today, and she said, Cheryl, she said, I'm just here with my husband and my family and my kids, but, we got to take it to God. And only God knows when he going to let us. They said, a lot of times they tell you that God don't put on you no more than you can bear. So I'm just hoping and praying. I try to pray on a daily basis. God, thank you for, waking me up this morning. God, thank you for starting me on my way. And God, just pray for me and my family, pray for the YouTube family, and pray for everybody that's in need. We all need prayer. Pray for the hospitals. Pray for the medical professionals. Pray for the doctors, the lawyers. Pray for the president. Pray for us all. Pray for the mayor, because they said this coronavirus virus is in all 50 states. The medical professionals, they're out there risking their lives. Fire department, the police. So we all need each other. We all in it together. And there's all 50 states that have this coronavirus. So, God, just hoping that we can get this washed off. I tell you, I don't know. Then sometimes you don't even want to lay down and go to sleep. Sometimes I just sit up late and watch TV and watch the news until I fall asleep. And then I have to get back up in the morning, the same old, you just hear. Next thing, then when you get up in the morning and you look at the news, then they got more cases, but it's just probably that, not necessarily meaning that it's more cases. It's just meaning that they probably just got the results. It was already been tested. If they have already been tested, But I ain't gonna hold you all too long, because I can just talk about this. Thanks for joining me today, and I want to say hope to see you back here again, same place, same time, same channel. The Cheryl Hubbard Show. And I told my sister the name of my channel. She started laughing. I told my sister the name of my channel, the Cheryl Hubbard Show. And she started laughing. I said, you know what? I couldn't think of no other name, so my prayers go out to all of you. Praying for myself, God, pray for me, praying for all of you, and come back to see me again. So I'm going to get ready. It's going to be on. It's going to be on, because I am going to get me some patterns, some material, and I want to make some real outfits. I want to start. I might make something for my granddaughter and my grandson. Who knows? I might start out with one little outfit at a time. But thanks for joining me today. I hope to see you back here again. Same place, same time, same channel. The Cheryl Hubbard Show. The Cheryl Hubbard Show. And I'm going to continue watching YouTube. Let me see what time it is. I got my little cell phone right here too. So 12. Let me see what time it is. It's almost, was almost 10, 13, 14, 15, 16. It's almost, it's 21:49. That's 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Oh, it's 10 minutes. It's 10 minutes to 10. All right, so thanks for joining me today. Hope to see you again back here on my channel. So comment below, subscribe. Give me some ideas of what you might want me to talk about. You know, I just, you know, been going in my books, my college books, my law books, my computer books, you know, business law, accounting. I've been talking about everything on my, you know, I want to get in more into relationships, marriage, different conversations, whatever you want me to talk about. I can do research on it. And, you know, you got some questions. Any questions you want to answer, ask me, comment below, and then on my next video, I will answer those questions. Gladly answer the questions. You know, but, so thanks for joining me. I want to say I'll be glad to see you next time. I'll see you next time. Same place, same time, same channel. The Cheryl Hubbard Show. And, you all have a good one.